Hello, I'm Chanel, and today we're looking at the original Life Design cards by Lisa McLoughlin. Sorry about that. This is an indie deck. I purchased it myself. So for me, this cost $83 Australian plus $28 Australian to ship. So on the back of the deck, you see here that there is a booklet and there are 50 cards concerning permaculture principles, astrology, and personal development prompts. So this is the book on the inside. Okay, so first, we've got some free stickers here that you receive with the deck. Okay, so those are the stickers. This is the guidebook. So the paper is matte. So this tells you about what the deck is like, what permaculture is, and how to use it. So there are multiple ways to use this deck. One of them is, for instance, splitting them up into the seasons. So the deck has summer, winter, spring, and autumn, and to use those cards in that season. But there's multiple, as you can see, just multiple ways that the creator recommends you using them. So with the cards themselves, you have the title of the card with the season that it is, and then just a very brief little tiny paragraph about the card. So, and that's like that for all of them. So these are the cards, and as you can see, some of the backs are different because it's based on season. So different seasons have different card backings. So the card stock, the way it feels to me is what I call a satin. So it's sort of in between a matte and a gloss. It is 400 GSM cardstock. I can see mine's chipping a bit in the corners. And it says it's Galleria cardstock. So it's an anti-scuff laminate on top. So let's take a look at the cards. Okay, so riffle shuffling, I don't think will be possible with this deck because it is so thick. I just don't think it's flexible enough to riffle. Overhand, it's fine. You know, it doesn't stick or anything like that because it's so glossy. And they are a little long, but you know, for an oracle, they're not that big. So I've got small hands and I did fine with it. So here we have allow our curiosity to drive what does not make sense. So this is a spring. So those are the spring backs. Be a witness to the world around you. Gather all of the clues through a variety of experiences. Be a journalist, make inquiries to aid clarity, and help figure things out. Release any tension through physical exercise. I'll read one more since they're so short. So here we have number 42. This one is a summer. So that's the summer backs. So this one says, seize the moment to creatively direct your raw energy. Celebrate life through spontaneity. Express your personality and create outward symbols of your inward state. Say, life, I love you. You know how to be happy. So I will see you back for my personal review of this deck. By Lisa McLoughlin, 50 card deck about permaculture principles, astrology, and personal development. So I have not modified this deck, and there is a reason for that. But first, let me talk a little bit about the backs. I actually do like them, and that they have different color stories depending on which season it correlates to. So I don't mind the backs. I would have preferred it without the borders. I'm not a border girly. The cardstock is fine, have no issues with that. I'll just show you what I paired this deck with. So number 1 is a Sacred Forest Oracle. And number 2 is the Tarot Ecological. So those are my pairings. I think they worked well together. I wanted decks that had a nature feel since this is such a naturey kind of deck. Okay, so let's talk about the deck. The artwork, I like it. I really do. I think it's cool, it's interesting, and I like that it has the number and a key phrase on the card. I always like it when there's something there that you can use without having to go to the guidebook every single time. As far as how these decks work together, I think they were very complementary. They've got a very similar energy. Now, this deck has multiple ways to use it, as referenced in the guidebook. I personally didn't really enjoy any of the suggested uses. I found this deck just really odd to use. In general, I love permaculture. I tried to implement that in my own home garden. I like the philosophies of permaculture. The meanings that were in the guidebook were okay, but I don't know how applicable they are in terms of a divinatory meaning. Sometimes I just felt it was a bit odd. Like, they do have a lot of great little sort of journal prompts. This is definitely a great journaling deck. But for me, I never got a like profound, shivers up my spine reading with it. There was never anything that really was like super elucidating for me. It was just like, okay, cool. It's a lot to do with activities to do and getting your body moving and connecting with nature. So if you are having trouble with those two things, getting into nature and momentum, movement, then this is probably definitely a deck that you could use. It would be beneficial for you. But for me, I was like, I already do these things, so I don't really know what I'm getting from this. Are these all upside down? They are. So I just, I don't know, I didn't feel super called to want to use it. I was like, I don't really feel like I need to use it every day. Like, I'm not excited to pull it out. I do love the color in the deck. They're like, for this one, I'd be like, oh, solar plexus, chakra, because of the color story across the cards. But I don't know, like I said, I like it in theory. I like this deck in theory. I like the artwork. But the quality is good. It came with a lot of freebies, which is always very nice. But I just don't see myself using it long term. I think that's just the thing. I think once I've used it quite thoroughly and I've got to experience all of the cards, I probably will let it go. So I'll enjoy the lush and flourishing for now, and then I will probably move this deck on. So I think that's the way it will be, little darling. But it's a good time for me to use now. I do feel like this is more of a spring deck if I was going to put it in a season, even though this is a also, now these are upside down again. I should really check my cards before I put them up here. This card is split into seasons for most of the cards. But yeah, I'll still enjoy using it for now. And then when I feel like, okay, I've satisfied my curiosity, I will move it onwards and upwards. But I don't think I really have anything else to say. I definitely needed to use it in spreads because, like I said, if I was just using it as like, what activity should I do today? Then I can be like, all right, enjoy a mindful photography walk or practice gratitude. You could use it on its own in that way. Like, what should I do today? Draw together. But I really do mostly use my decks for divinatory purposes or for like therapeutical purposes. And I'm trying to like work some stuff out or discover how I feel about certain things, or if there's anything hidden that needs to be illuminated, or for advice, like what should I do in regards to this situation. So like I said, this deck is definitely more, it was better used when I was like, all right, what should I do today? And then I'll be like, all right, cool, that'll be my activity. So it could be also like a self-care deck. But like I said, especially for if you have trouble, oh, little kitty, what are you doing? Sorry about that. Oh, oops, you just farted. Good Lord. I'm dying here. Sorry for the interruption. So yeah, if you want to, like I said, get into nature more and move your body more, then this is a really great deck for that. But yeah, in the long term for me, I just don't see myself using it much. I think it will serve for its time and for something fun and novel to use, and then I will most likely pass it on. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's just not something I want in the long run. But that was the original Life Design cards, Weave a Different Story by Lisa McLoughlin Art. I hope that you are having a wicked morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay well, Star Child.